Welcome to If You Even Care. Thank you for being here, and happy Casual Monday, you guys. Some of you might have gotten the email, and I hope that you are wearing your favorite pair of starched jeans right now, which are, of course, one of the few things that we allow for Casual Mondays. Starched denim and your biggest t-shirt. What a combo. That's what I've got going on. You can't see my legs, but trust, the jeans are crispy. Every job I've ever had that had like a casual Friday, casual Monday, whatever, it was like, yeah, you could wear pretty much anything you want. No spaghetti straps, no shoulders, no knees showing, obviously. We don't want any joggers, no sweatpants, no sweatshirts, no hoodies, no hats. But starched denim on the table and maybe a cardigan. Yeah, get crazy with it. Come in something with a lot of buttons. Yeah, feel free. Be our guest. How has everybody's week been? Very good. I didn't even know if I was going to make it to this podcast mic today. I was taking a shower a little earlier today, and I'm going to pause that thought. I'm going to pause that thought for another thought that is incoming right now. Why are celebrities always telling us that they don't shower? Why are they always admitting that they don't bathe? Who wants to know that? What is that? And it's not like they're telling us in the way where they're like being really vulnerable and saying like, hey, I've, struggled with my mental health. I've had a bout of depression. I was postpartum and I had a really hard time getting out of bed, and taking a shower was even hard sometimes, because that would be like meaningful. Instead, it's just a celebrity telling us for no reason. I don't know. I just like to marinate in my oils for a couple of days. And it's like, well, you're not a tandoori chicken recipe, beloved. So like, I really don't want to know that. Keep that to yourself. You should keep that to yourself if that is the case. You can tell people, but I really don't understand why you would. I don't understand. What is that doing for you? Have you not seen how this goes for every other celebrity that's ever admitted this? And then, they could do the whole like, well, dermatologists say, they do the pits and groin and feet and whatever, and you do that instead of showering. No one's listening past that point. No one's even clicking on the article. They're just reading the headline and going, damn, well, I'm sure they stink. Every time we're going to see you in a show or a movie or your music's going to come out, we're going to be like, oh, that's the smelly guy. Oh, yeah, that's them. They stink. Yeah, they stink for sure. I don't have to be around it to know. You shower once a week? Why are you doing that? Nobody is going to read about how like you do dry showers or like some new showering technique. It's just like, that's where it stops. I just personally don't want to know that Benny Blanco waits until he gets juicy to take a shower. And if I have to know that, then you have to know that. And we all have to know that. And do what we will with that information. Back to the first thought. So I'm in the shower and I'm home alone, and I heard this whistling sound, and it sounded like a tune. It sounded like somebody whistling a tune. And I turned the shower off because I'm immediately like, okay, I'm being paranoid. I'm doing that thing that people do where like you get in the shower and then immediately like you're like, what the fuck is happening outside? Like somebody's breaking in. Because everybody does that, of course. Right? Yes. All of us do that. We all do the same things and everything is normal. So I'm like, okay, I'm being paranoid. I thought I heard something, but I didn't. I continue my shower. And then like a minute later, I heard it again. And it sounds like a person is standing outside of my bathroom door whistling a tune. The only reason I could think someone would be standing outside of my bathroom door whistling a tune is if they were going to murder me, is if they were the whistling killer. Who is the whistling killer? Girl, fuck if I know. But that is what I have styled them in my mind. That's what the article's going to say. Why else would somebody be whistling? I have nobody coming over. I have no company. Nobody else is here with me. Why would somebody be standing outside the bathroom whistling a tune unless they wanted to come and kill me? And they're just getting me warmed up, just trying to freak me out before they come inside and they do the deed. And I got so fucking scared. I jumped out of my shower, nearly slipped and busted my ass, stood in my bathroom for too long. This whole thing took too long. I'm like, okay, let me just open the door. Because if he's going to get me, he's going to get me. It just is what it is, and there's no lock on my bathroom door. When I say this place, the landlord did not even glance at it. In fact, I could say I didn't even glance at it. Really, I didn't look at things that I just kind of assumed would be there. And I didn't know to look for them when I was looking at this apartment. There's no lock on the bathroom door. And there's like a hook lock, but the door, it's nothing. There's no doorknob lock, and the hook lock came loose because the wood on the door frame is so shitty. It's nothing. There's nothing to keep this door locked. So I'm like, well, it's not an issue of him getting in. So unless this sick motherfucker is going to start whistling again and come and get me, I don't know what's going on. Open the door. Wow, do I feel stupid. Already felt kind of silly, just kind of sitting in my bathroom for a few minutes, to open the door and see absolutely nothing. A relief, and also, am I okay? am I good? But I can't. You have to trust me. You have to trust me right now when I tell you that the whistling sound sounded like a person whistling. It didn't just sound like, I don't know, like a car or something passing by. It didn't sound like, I don't know. I didn't think that I was going to find an explanation for it in the bathroom, except that I did, because it was my fucking shower head. It was my shower head is coming loose at the base of it. And I it's making a whistling noise when it's sitting in the shower head holder in the bathroom at a certain angle. So yeah. So that was silly and ridiculous and scary. I think it's a common thing too, where you just get really paranoid in the bathroom. It's as soon as I would get in the shower and I'd be washing my face or keeping my eyes closed under the water, I would hear a crash, my mom yelling my name, somebody's knocking on the door, I hear the fucking Sims 3 burglar music, and I'm like, what is happening? And then you turn off the water and then it's just dead silence. I don't know what that is. There has to be a name for that. Okay, popscience.com. They seem reliable. I guess it's called audio pareidolia. And I really hope that I'm saying that last word right. Pareidolia. A weird but common experience that happens when you perceive words from a random noise. The trigger for the phenomenon varies from person to person. For some, it's their fan or running water. While it feels somewhat like a hallucination, hearing and psychology experts assure us that it's not. Instances of audio pareidolia are different from hallucinations in that you're mishearing actual sounds in unusual ways. Okay. So what we've learned is that I'm okay. I'm okay. Everything's okay. Perfect. I knew it had to be a common thing, so I feel I've heard people talk about that before, but it's every time I'm washing my face and my eyes are closed, I'm my mom is in my house for some reason, and she is screaming my name at the top of her lungs, and the carbon monoxide thing is going off, and someone is trying to break in through my back door. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of what I have to talk about has to do with bathrooms. And I had a story about a bathroom in the last episode when I was talking about that woman at Goodwill. So I'm going to make a promise to you that in the next episode and on, we're not going to talk about bathrooms. Actually, I'm not going to promise we're never going to talk about bathrooms. We do spend a lot of time in there over our lifetime. Things are bound to happen. But I'm not going to talk about bathrooms for 2 episodes. Promise. Swear. So I went out this past weekend, had a little bit of sister time. We did some dancing, and I saw something happen that I fucking hate. And it didn't happen to me. I saw it happen to a stranger. Oh, it makes me so mad. If you are willing in a bar or club to go up to the bathroom door having no idea how long that person has been in there, and you bang on the door, hurry up, hurry up. You are the Joker. You're the killer. You are like Ramsay Bolton out of your fucking mind. I don't care how drunk you are. That's crazy. Like, do you honk your horn right when a light turns green too? You're nuts. And then when you do open up the door, everyone's kind of just standing there like Tommy Pickles, like toes touching. What are we doing? Where's that same energy? You know, you swing the door open, suddenly everyone's hands behind their back doing like the Steamboat Willie whistle. You made me feel like I was being hunted for sport, girl. And you know what? I wish I could be like, oh, okay, like now I'm going to take twice as long. Yeah, now I'm going to like scrub up like a surgeon for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to really milk it, reapply my whole face of makeup. But the truth is, I'm flustered now. Yeah, you've spooked me. So now I'm trying to rush through this. My knees are shaky from hitting a squat over the toilet. I'm fumbling with the fucking toilet paper now because, you know, it's always loose. It's never in the dispenser. Now it's fucking rolling across the floor. Soap dispenser's not working. The water's like scalding hot unless you get it right directly in the middle. And the whole time, I hear people just hurry up, knocking on the fucking door. I've been in here for 40 seconds. Yeah, it's a little hard to hurry up when I think that the fucking Canker sisters are outside waiting to jump me just because, what, I broke the seal? What was my crime here? Crazy. You are the killer. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're blackout. I have never gotten so drunk that I would just run up to a bathroom door and just be like, yeah, you gotta go. You gotta get the fuck out of here. I don't know what you're doing in there. I don't know what all this is. Like, it's just someone peeing and like reapplying like lip liner. That's it. It's like, or throwing up. And then it's like, well, you know, we'll finish what you're doing. You know, someone's like mid tampon pulling that shit out and you're telling them to hurry up. And now there's going to be splatters everywhere. And then we go, oh, how come the toilet seat's always covered in pee? Because people are just, you know, knocking like a fucking cop on the door. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I know that this is how it happens. I'm not talking about like, you know, when you have to give a knock because someone's really taking their time in there and there's like a line forming. So the knock is kind of like like honking your horn in the way that it's like to alert them, like you've got a line forming out here. It's like I have gone into the bathroom, hit a squat, and then had someone knock on the door. And when you walk up to a bathroom door, you just start banging on it. You don't know how long they've been in there. How do you know that person hasn't been in there for 30 seconds and they're not going to come out and knock the green tea shots out of you? You're taking such a gamble. Now you get lucky at my door because I'm not going to do that. The worst I'm going to do, to be honest, is just like come out and be pissed off and just be like, yeah, I was literally in there for 2 minutes. And then usually they either don't say anything or they're just like, oh, sorry, like she has to pee. You know, but like, how do you know? How do you know someone's not going to come out and just grip you up by the shirt? You know, pants you. I don't know. They could do anything. People are crazy. People are crazy and you are crazy. You are crazy. If you do that, you are proof that people are crazy and that they'll do anything. They'll just fucking do anything. That's so like embarrassing too, to be with a person who does that. That's like being with the person who like they get really drunk and then every person around them is like shoving them or pushing into them, and it's like, well, we're fucking balls to the wall in here. We're packed body to body. It's like the one bar I go to, it's like that episode of SpongeBob with like the sardines where there's like they're doing like the wave and the Krusty Krab. That's what it feels like in there. And I'll hear girls sometimes behind me be like, this bitch just pushed me. No, her body just like literally has nowhere else to go. Like, it's annoying when someone is like being sloppy drunk and they like bump into you because they have no situational awareness. They're actually just not paying attention to what's going on around them. But that's not the case when we can barely breathe in here. You see the windows are fogged up? Like, let's not look for a problem, okay? And if we want to do that, let's just get an Uber. and hit up a Taco Bell. Like, that sounds more fun than like, we're going to stand here and you're just going to get angry over every person who touches us. People will be bumping us and they will be touching us and it will be annoying and we have to dance anyway. And yet we must dance anyway. We just have to keep going or go to another fucking place, you know? But like, I saw someone do it to a stranger, and this is like a situation where like there's like a hall that leads to the bathroom, and we're in there like, well, it's a pizzeria. It's a pizzeria that like is also a bar, and people dance in there, and there's not a lot of space. But like standing there waiting for pizza, and I look to my left, like down that hall, and I see that happen, and I know that this is how that happened because I saw the girl that went in there. And then this person went around the corner to that hallway like a minute later, started banging on the fucking door. You really just don't know. You don't know that person's not going to just open the door and punch you in the face. And that's how I think about it. I wouldn't do it either way, but like there's an element of like danger here. Like, you don't know. So you're drinking and acting a fool. How do you know the other person's not going to? Okay, what else has been going on? I've been watching the new season of Married at First Sight. If you like reality TV and you don't watch this show, I feel like I've said this exact thing, this exact way before in like a really old episode of this. Really old meaning I don't even know what, because this is only like episode 35 or 36, I think. But I think I've said this exact thing because the show is so good normally for the wrong reasons, because I mean, they do exactly what the title says. They get married at first sight. It's on Peacock now, and they kind of gave it a facelift. So the show is a little bit more like, feels more like a Netflix show, where before it was, God, I can't even remember what it was on, but Lifetime, I think, something like that. But it had a different feeling to it before. Like, there's a lot of seasons to go back and watch, and a lot of them are entertaining. But they never really like went about things the right way. There are so many episodes, like they really follow these couples for like a long time, but they do like therapy sessions in between, like, you know, kind of trying to coach them through this. But it was never like, they never did enough for these people. It's such a stressful situation that these people are putting themselves in, because you know, you could put everything that you want in a person on paper. I want them to look like this and have this kind of sense of humor, and I want their smile to look like this, and like whatever. You could be so specific, so granular with it. And then you could have that person right in front of you, and you might not like how they smell. It could be that simple. Their laugh might actually be like nails on a chalkboard to you. There could be something about them where like the way that they get when they're angry or when they're sad and whatever it is, something about them that you just cannot look past, and it just never ends up clicking, even though they're exactly your type, like how you described. That ends up being the case for so many of these people, where they describe what they want. They end up getting married to a person that fits. I mean, in most cases, there are some cases where it's like they did like well, we're pairing these two together because opposites attract. And then it's like, they're the complete and total opposite of everything that person asked for. Those never work out. Shocker. But you could give these people like a person that matches that description, and then they're kind of just like, there's just something about them. It doesn't matter that they're checking all these boxes, because I just don't like how their breath smells, or I just don't, there's some kind of like humor missing between us or something like that. And it's so interesting to watch it play out. It's a really good show, like I said, for the wrong reasons. But this season, they are doing a little bit more like therapy with them. And they're doing like group counseling and things like that. It seems like this season's been really good so far. I've been enjoying it. But it is one of the most insane reality shows out there. Like, when I tell you, if you go back and watch these seasons of like pre-Peacock, because the therapists they have in there now, they really don't fuck around. In past seasons, some of these experts, that's what they call them, that coach the couples through their marriages, they would try to kind of like pressure people to stay together, even when the relationship was getting really bad and really toxic, like 1 or 2 weeks in. Like in such a short span of time where it's like they should be kind of feeling each other a little bit more, or like be in a honeymoon phase, and they're not. They just don't click. And they would be like, well, you guys are married now. And when you're married, you have to be married together. And it's like, but they don't know each other. Like, they're married legally. Everything else about this, these are complete and total strangers. Like, they're 2 weeks into a relationship that was like created for them, and they are at each other's throats. They would try to be like, you know, you guys committed to this, so you really got to lock in and make it work. It's like shit like that. Like, sometimes they'd try to guilt trip them, or sometimes they would be like, I mean, this is what you asked for. But they'd have a way of saying it where the people, like the couples, would kind of be like, well, I mean, you are right, and this is what I wanted. It's such an insane show. And I don't know how many couples out of the whole show, like all the seasons, are still together. Probably, I don't know. I've seen so many of the recent seasons, like nobody ends up staying together on like decision day. But if you're into all those Netflix dating shows, Love is Blind, whatever, or you just like to have something on for background, because it's a pretty long show. I think there's at least 20 episodes per season. Could be more than that, but goes on for a while. It is interesting. I am finding the conversations in this recent season so much better. They kind of like took away some of that pressure, and it doesn't feel like they're trying to make everybody make it work. But man, there are some seasons where I'm like, you guys are fucking betting on which couples are going to stay together or something, because they are desperate to make it work. Or it's just because they need to like hit quota. Like, we need at least one couple this season to get married. There's been a lot where nobody walks away married. I don't want to say a lot, but like recent seasons, I think there were 2 in like the past couple of years where like not a single person said yes. Just crazy. It's such a wild show. So can't recommend it enough. Just don't expect to like, I don't know, watch a lot of real love blossom. It's just a lot of like people trying to make something work because it's what they asked for. And sometimes they're kind of being guilt tripped a little bit. At least that's what I think. That's kind of what it always felt like to me. So not good TV in that it is good. Good TV in that it's like interesting to watch these things play out. Also, something I rewatched recently, so it has been on my mind, heavy. If I say the Degrassi Shark in the Water Carnival promo video, does that string of words mean anything to any of you? It meant a lot to me. A lot. There was this one Degrassi promo where it's the song Shark in the Water by, I think it's Vivi Brown, and this, I don't know what it was about this commercial, or like it was kind of like a music video that would come on in between shows, and I was obsessed with it. Never ran so fast in my life to go find a song. To this day, like, I had to rewatch it to see if it still has that same hold on me. It does. And it still holds up. I was obsessed. I mean, if I was bored and I had 15, 20 minutes to kill, let me slip into a little maladaptive daydream. First one I'm going to is, what if I was in the Degrassi Shark in the Water Carnival promo video? What if I was in there? And then that could take up a really good chunk of time. There was something about it. It was just so like, I don't know. And this isn't helpful, because the thing about a podcast is you're going to want to talk and you're going to want to like describe things, but I don't even know how to describe what that meant to me and what it did to me. It's just, you might have had to be there. I don't know if you go and watch it now. Now it's still, you might be able to get it. Even if you weren't there, even if you're like What are you talking about? If you were to go and watch it, you might get it. Like when that shit came on, I was glued to the TV. So I did have to save that song to my Spotify. I've been playing it a lot, I'll be honest. Also been listening to Take Me There from the Rugrats soundtrack. That's a great song. Don't let the first couple of seconds fool you when you start hearing the Rugrats theme song play. It's a good song. And Vacation by Vitamin C, which is from the short Pikachu's Vacation, which used to play before Pokemon the first movie. So I don't know what's going on. I'm in a nostalgic kind of mood lately. I think it's one of those like YouTube rabbit holes where like you click on one thing and then you're like finding all this shit that you forgot about. I went down a deep rabbit hole the other day and just found a bunch of stuff. So, and I'm going to listen to it. Yeah, I pay for premium. I pay for premium. I'm going to use it. I'm going to play whatever I want. Me getting defensive when nobody cares. Yeah, I'm going to listen to whatever I want. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for your input, which there was none of. Okay, let's do I Care a Lot, which is, I guess, what I'm calling the advice segment. I'm going to read one of the questions that you guys sent in to me. And if you want to send in one, the link is in the description for this episode. It's totally anonymous. Okay, this one says, in my trio, one of my friends recently got a girlfriend, like in the last year or so, and we were all happy for her. However, we literally have not seen her less happy since she got in the relationship. She's always fighting with her girlfriend and then proclaiming her love to her the next moment, etc. Very that story from a couple episodes ago about your friend and her hard boyfriend. That is what I was thinking of. She's always on her phone whenever we're around her, texting her girlfriend, and we don't see her that much as a trio. Any advice on how to handle this, because I'm kind of losing my mind at her seemingly not giving a fuck about us over her girlfriend. So, I mean, there's always a chance this could completely resolve itself and they could break up. Which, if things are a little bit toxic or like rocky, maybe that would be for the best. But if this were to go anything like it's gone in my life, me being the friend watching a friend go through this, I think the only thing you really can do, as cliche as it sounds, and it's like such basic advice, but like you could try talking to them. I wouldn't talk to them about this in a way where it's like you're talking about the fact that you and your other friend in this trio both feel this way. Because I think when people kind of feel like, you know, there's like this mentality people can get, especially in a really unhealthy relationship where it becomes like, it's us against the world, babe. Everybody's against us. You know, nobody want to see us together. Some couples kind of thrive off of that. So like, and you also just don't want her to feel kind of ganged up on. So I think the best way to do that would probably be like a one-on-one kind of thing, unless you would rather your other friend be a part of it. But I feel like in a kind of calm setting, guys are like out to eat or just hanging out at the house, whatever it is, but like in a really chill setting where you're someplace comfortable, maybe bringing it up and just being like, hey, you know, I know you've got stuff going on in your relationship, but like we're feeling a little bit forgotten about at times. Well, I would say I'm feeling this way. You know, they could feel ganged up on, even though that's not how you're coming at this at all. But I've also seen it go where like I've had that talk with a friend and they kind of just went down this path anyway, and then slowly over time isolated themselves. And there's a chance that that could happen too. And then at that point, I think half the time they end up coming back later on. Like if they break up, they end up coming back because they go through this breakup. They made this person their entire world. And then they're like, oh shit, I have like nobody. I have nobody to even talk through my breakup with. I've got nobody to hang out with. And then they end up coming back. Or they could feel really guilty about how like they let their friendships just kind of like, you know, they didn't put the same kind of effort into their friendships that they did their romantic relationships. They just didn't know how to find a balance at that time. So they end up coming back. And then it's balls in your court whether or not you forgive them. I have forgiven just about every person who's ever kind of come back after a relationship like that, because you never know. People get swept up in shit. It happens. Even a person you wouldn't expect it from. And especially when it's like they get those high highs of like, you know, the high highs, the low lows, they fight and then they get the makeup. But then you guys don't get the makeup. You guys don't get like flowers or apology text or like makeup sex. That'd be kind of crazy if you did. Like you guys don't get those things. So as the friends, you're kind of just watching your friend go through like these crazy fucking, you know, now they're fighting, now they're good again. And like she's speaking highly of her girlfriend. She's speaking poorly of them. It's a lot. You're not getting like the good stuff. You're kind of just seeing the bad. So like, I want to say I don't regret ever letting a friend come back from that, because with some of them, we did end up staying friends. There are others, though, where they came back. I was like, you know what? We're good. Like, people can lose themselves in a relationship. It happens. And they kind of let the same thing happen with that same person or with another person. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how things are going to go for them. And they've got to figure that out on their own. But I hope that doesn't happen here. I think it's worth having the conversation, because even if that is the path they go down and they kind of start to isolate themselves more and more, they'll always be able to revisit the memory of like you trying to come to them and like be a friend and be like, hey, you know, you're kind of like, we're kind of losing you here. They'll be able to look back on that memory and be like, damn, I really did kind of like do them dirty. So I would say give it that try to talk to them. And if it does go down that path, if it ends up being that way where they just kind of cut themselves off from everybody, you know, I mean, I would say if you're willing, depending on how everything goes down, I would give them another chance. But then after that, if they're the kind of person who they're always going to get into a relationship and it's just going to consume them, that's a really tricky person to stay friends with, you know, especially in a toxic relationship or just like kind of like a up and down, like tricky one. People get so caught up in it that I think they do deserve another shot. But like some people are just that person. They're just going to let that relationship rule everything. And they won't ever find that balance of like, you do have to pour into your friendships like you do romantic relationships, not in the same ways, but like you do owe your friends something. So yeah, I don't know. I really hope that this doesn't end up like that. And they're kind of just like still kind of in a, I want to say honeymoon phase, but it doesn't sound that happy. Kind of sounds rockier than that. But like for some people, that is the fun part of the relationship, is like, you know, they're in it for like about a year or two and it's exciting when they fight because the makeup is exciting, and then that shit gets tired. So they could end up getting so fucking sick of this and just being rid of it. But I think, I mean, you know your friend's personality. If you feel like you can be honest with them and tell them this relationship doesn't seem like it's serving you, it doesn't seem good for you, and they're not going to freak out or like lash out, or even if they will, fuck it. Sometimes it's worth saying it anyway. Maybe they need to hear it from somebody. You know, like this doesn't look good from the outside. I don't know. I really hope it works out and they don't like end up cutting themselves off, because it's always a shame to see it happen. Ooh, I really hope none of it has picked up on the mic, but my upstairs neighbors all fucking day, boom clap, boom de clap de clap. I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know. It's been since 6 a.m. just banging. And every time I hear that, I go, well, maybe they're moving. And then they're never moving. But I think they have to renew their lease soon. So just keep me in your thoughts. Keep me in your thoughts that they don't. I would genuinely rather take a family of 17 over whatever the fuck happens up there. I have no consideration. That's not the sound of people just living their lives. That is the sound of people taking every piece of furniture in the apartment and turning it upside down. That's something else. The screaming. And now Biscotti's back in a long distance thing with their cat who cries at the top of the stairs. She's back at it again. And he's just sitting by the door every night, just listening to her. It's really sad, but yeah, hoping that they don't renew that lease. And because if they do, I've got a couple of months to wait here with them. Whatever's happening up there is getting louder by the minute. So this is where we will end things for now. But next Monday, speak again. Meet here. Same place. I love you. Bye.